Welcome back, everyone. Today, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts about Bannerman resources. Okay, to start with Bannerman, some people may criticize the share count, and I want to reiterate again, I couldn't care less. However, it does point to potentially my biggest reservation about Bannerman, and that is how much they have advanced their project and how much money they've raised at the bottom of the cycle. Now, I do think that this puts them in a great position now, as they do have a definitive feasibility study and a test plant. So the bulk of the dilution should be behind them, and they should be fine for a few more years and hopefully until they go into production. I believe that's the plan. Okay, so the things that I like most about Bannerman. I like their CEO's industry outlook and his independent view. I like that they have a definitive feasibility study ready and should be almost ready to finance and construction and go into construction. I like their cheap market cap. I really like their location, which for those of you who may not know is in Namibia. And also really like the size of the asset, and this is a huge deposit. On the other hand, my biggest question about Bannerman is the economics of the deposit. In other words, what the prices that they'll be needing and will uranium get and stay there. So with a break-even price at $52 a pound and a cash cost over the life of the mine $38, this isn't a low-cost operation. In fact, it is, I would think would be fair to say, a fairly high-cost operation. Now, at $75 uranium, the net present value of the project is 419 million with a 15% IRR. Meaning they probably, under regular or ideal circumstances, wouldn't be going into production until $85 uranium. However, they are cutting it lower because $85 uranium might be, in the view of the feasibility study, pushing it. They also do have large capex of 793 million. The one positive thing I would say is the 419 million net present value, that doesn't include all of the uranium. So that could expand over time as they go to the rest of their deposit. That is just includes the proven, the more certain resources. Now, what is the investment proposition for Bannerman? Well, if you believe uranium goes above $70 in the next few years, and then potentially moves higher and higher, then you should really be looking at something like this stock. If you think maybe $50 in 2019, then the next year 80, then 100, then 120, that is when this stock will be potentially one of the better performing stocks, one of the best performing stocks, maybe even because of that leverage to higher uranium prices. But if your target is $50 to $60 and you don't want to be speculating, then you might not want to invest in this stock. Why do I use that timeline? Well, step one, the price needs to get high enough and probably contract so that there is a production decision. Then there's probably about 3 years before the construction is complete and the production commences. And then after the 3 years, if it's producing, if the price is still adequately high or going higher, then it gets re-rated to a producer and trades off of cash flow. Now, why not? Why would you not want to buy this stock? Well, there are higher capex, very high capex, and they do have higher costs. So if it only goes to 50 or 60, then they would need to optimize things a whole heck of a lot to get this thing even close to production. And I'm not sure that that happens at $50 or $60 uranium. Now, the way I think of this stock is basically like a call option on higher uranium prices. Um, why do I think of it like this? Well, if the cycle takes too long to start and a bunch of other projects get ready, then that reduces Bannerman's value. If the price spikes near term when very few others are ready and Bannerman is the closest and they go into production, then they could have a rather large payoff. But if not, this is this could be worth approximately nothing. Now, if we do get to higher uranium prices, the asset value will actually be more volatile than the stock price. Why is that? Because if you look at the asset value at lower uranium prices, it's worth very little, little, and then all of a sudden, once we get into the high enough uranium range, the value just starts shooting up because of the massive resource and because of the leverage. So the big question is, to me, will the price get high enough so that this asset ever has monetization value? If it does, it has a lot more monetization value than the current price. In conclusion, I wouldn't have a large chunk of my portfolio in this without a high degree of certainty that I know how the cycle's going to play out or will likely play out or where the price eventually goes. Now, that's not to say that I would stay away from this stock. I believe that this has a spot in the portfolio if you have some more maybe longer term plays that wouldn't be ready in terms of a price spike scenario. This could work as a great hedge. I might even say that it's wise to have something like this. Doesn't have to be this. Could be some other higher cost, almost ready thing in your portfolio. It might be wise to have something like that. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed and I thank you all for watching. And if you have a comment, please let me know. But until then, and until next time, I wish you all a great day. Just a quick note of something that I wanted to add. Right now, I'm trying to gauge interest in potentially launching a series or service where I would be providing in-depth reports on some of the stocks that I own and the value that I see within in them. If you want to see what something like that might look like, I suggest I'll put a free sample in the description. And for the moment, I am just trying to see how many people might be interested in this, and I'm hoping to find a way that I could do this that makes sense for everyone. And as to what the pricing might be, I don't know exactly yet, but it wouldn't be something super expensive. I just want to find a way that makes sense for all parties. And if you're considering it, please reach out, let me know. The more people I know are interested, the more likely this actually happens. So thank you. Hey everyone, just quickly, you can read this here or in the description of any video. Just remember, what I do and say here is meant to be a helpful supplement or thought filter for your research, not a replacement for it. I can be wrong, and I'm often quite early, aka wrong for a good while, which is why none of this is ever investment advice.